Imagine getting notified of every job that's posted on LinkedIn, Upwork, Indeed, or any other platform that directly matches your skill set and the types of jobs you want to work on. That's exactly what this n8n automation is going to do. And we're going to dive into how this works in this short video. Now, if you do want access to this template, you can head over to the school community and download it here. After you've downloaded it, you can simply import from the file. And another benefit of the school community is built into the school community, you have access to a job scraper software. This, along with other tools that I'm building specifically for members of my community, will allow you to get ahead when it comes to AI automation, finding clients, and all of that. So for example, this is scraping a bunch of other communities that have job boards, and it's going to find jobs that match your criteria. It's also going to search Upwork and LinkedIn, similar to this video, and send you an email. So if you want something to set up automatically, then go ahead and check out the school community down below. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the description that I have written for myself from my own software. You want to go ahead and write up something like this that basically just describes a lot of information about the different technologies and tools you've used, some of your accomplishments, and also, just as important, the things that you do not want to do. I'm going to copy this from my software, which again is in the description, and then we're going to head over to n8n. Now within configure here, I just have a simple set variable node that has two different variables. The first one is called search term, and you're going to add in the most broad search term that you have for your industry. In my case, it's n8n, AI automation, vibe coding, and Claude Code. Obviously, change that to your own. Now, here's where you want to paste in all of that experience that you have. And this is really the only configuration that you need if you're going to be downloading the template. I tried to make it so everything pulls from this one node here, so everything else works. Now, how exactly do we get access to all the data from LinkedIn and Upwork? Well, we are using a platform called Apify, which is a marketplace where people go in and create their own web scrapers, and then you just get to rent them for a small monthly fee. And I believe Apify gives you up to $5 of credit per month for free. So you can go ahead and try this out and see how it works for you. So a link to the two actors, which are basically Apify apps, will be in the description. We are using this one called Upwork Job Finder and this one called LinkedIn Job Scraper. But how exactly do we get these inside of n8n? Well, you want to click on the plus icon here, and you want to search for Apify. There is a community node that you do have to use, or you can directly use the API. But in this video, we're going to be using the community node. I'm going to select Apify, and we want to do run an actor and get dataset. Within here, you may not have a connection, so you want to go over ahead and create a new connection. What that's going to look like is something like this. You want to select API key, and then you want to head over to Apify and go to settings at the bottom left, and then go to API and integrations. And here we see default API token. Go ahead and click copy on that, and then paste this in right here. Click save. And then for both of the Apify actors, you're going to want to select that connection. So you want to open these up, and you want to select the connection right here. Now that that is done, we need to go ahead and configure these to work with the correct actor. Now, if you have not ran these actors before, you may not see them from the list. So we can just simply use ID. In this case, head over to LinkedIn. Again, this is in the description. You want to copy the ID, which is just right here inside the URL, and then paste it in right here. Now, if you open up the JSON, this is what the LinkedIn scraper is going to look like. Here, we're going to find 10 different job listings, and then we're also going to use this URL. So this is the exact URL that would show all the LinkedIn jobs based off of our previous search that said n8n or AI automation and all of this. We are using some JavaScript here to make sure that this is URL friendly. You don't have to understand how all this works. Basically, it just makes this search work well within a URL. As you can tell, this is the normal English version. And here we have the actual URL right here, which has all of these different encodings and different special characters. Again, you don't have to worry about how that works. That's just making sure that it will work. Now let's dive into Upwork. Very similar thing. If you don't see it on the list, you just want to use ID and head over to the Upwork URL in the description and copy the ID, and then come back and paste it in right here. Now this is much simpler. We have pages, we're just going to look for one, and then here's the query, which is much simpler than before. So simply, we're just going to take the search term, and we are going to replace the quotes with this escaped quote. Because if you're looking at this JSON code here, the double quotes is very important. We can't have double quotes hanging out in our string without there being a backslash beforehand. Otherwise, it is going to break. So now that we have both of those, let me go ahead and disconnect here. We just want to create a new merge node with two inputs and just connect these two right here. This will basically just wait for both the inputs to complete, and then we're going to try and connect them together. In fact, let me actually show you both of these nodes at the same time. If I open up JavaScript, here is some JavaScript that actually was generated through AI. So I didn't actually write this, and then you can generate this code through AI as well if you'd like. Basically, what this is going to do is it's going to combine the output of LinkedIn and Upwork into one single output, because the actors or the apps might have different output depending on how that developer wanted to create them. And so in this case, if I go ahead and run this, if I go over to Normalize Jobs, here, if I go to Schema, we have access to all of these fields here, such as title, description, URL, company, etc. And these are all pulled from either LinkedIn or Upwork, and hopefully it's the same exact structure of the object. So now that we have access to that, let's head over to the AI node. And this one, you can configure this to be a cheaper model. I like to use the latest model. I like to pay a little bit more for increased accuracy. That is up to you. Also, if you're using too many tokens for your liking, not only can you change the model, but you can limit how many jobs get passed in, usually on the Apify side. For example, on Upwork, actually we're just stuck on page 1, but for LinkedIn, we can change this to only scrape the last 3 jobs, for example. Or you can limit it within JavaScript, and AI can easily write that JavaScript for you, so you don't have to worry about it. But basically within here, there's a couple of things we're doing. We have a system prompt, and you can go ahead and screenshot the system prompt, and it'll write it for you if you ask ChatGPT. But basically we're saying you are a job matching assistant. Determine if a post matches a candidate's experience and returned JSON structure. Then here's the candidate's experience. We're pasting this in from the previous node. And then we have the rest of this basically saying return a JSON object with these fields. The most important one is the match Boolean. So this is going to be true or false if the job matches your description, your experience, and your expertise. We also then have title, URL, source, tech stack, and summary. These are going to be used within the email that's sent to you. So all 20 of these right now are ran at the same time, and then we're going to use a simple filter. Now, in my case for testing, I have this as match, which you can just simply click on match right here and drag this in. Match is going to be exists, which is not the ideal solution. This is just for testing, and if you're building this out with me, you might want to try this on exists first. This basically just ignores if something is good for you or not. It's just going to throw it into the email. But ideally, if you're actually using this, you want to change match to is true right here. That way, it has to match your experience in order for you to get notified. But let's head back over to just exists, just so I can guarantee that there's going to be output. Now, afterwards, we're going to compile the match jobs. And this is basically just going to create a message. And you can create this message however you want. In my case, I'm simply just going to be saying a little intro like, hey, we found this many matching jobs. And then we also are accessing the output of OpenAI. So if I come back over here, we have this text field, and then we're accessing the title, URL, and all of these other fields to create our own message. That's what you saw in the email towards the start of the video. Now, in this case, I'm creating an HTML message and a normal text message because it depends on how you want to be notified of this. In my case, I'm using Gmail, which means I want to use HTML. But if you want to be sent a Slack message, Microsoft Teams, Discord, anything like that, you might just want to use normal text. So within here, I'm simply going to be sending an email to myself. The subject is new job alerts. Email type is HTML. And I'm simply passing in the message HTML. And this is how I got the email that you saw earlier. Now, a quick tip for you guys is that this is scheduled to run every single hour. But if you want a quick 4-minute hack on how to get nearly unlimited scheduled workflows within n8n Cloud, then watch this video right here.